What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It is your boy MM2K, and I welcome you to brand new PMTS Stadia Dosage programming. I introduce to you Cloudy Game Reviews, hosted by the side-splitting streamer SPG, also known as Stadia Pro Gaming, the community's own gaming cyborg Ray Sherrod, the charismatic and all-knowledgeable PurpleHaze, the smooth and sultry voice man, LoFi Monk, the inspirational and gamer everywhere Mayne Games, and last but certainly not least, my brother from the 80s, Mr. Retro, all business himself, Jeff G. Welcome to a new review experience for the ages. That is Cloudy Game Reviews. With that, I turn it over to LoFi Monk. Enjoy and have a wonderful gaming day.
What's up? Welcome to Cloudy Game Reviews. Thank you, Mr. MM2K. And this is gonna be one for the books, man.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Yeah, for our first game, we're gonna be doing Outriders.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and there was two articles put on PNTS Network. One was written by our very own PurpleHaze. What's up, Perp?
What's up? What's up?
How you doing, Perp? Good
I'm
morning.
doing awesome. Y'all know I got my new jar of peanut butter, so I'm excited.
Oh yeah. Peanut butter. So
Love it.
yeah, man, we got this new review show, and you wrote an article, right? For PNTS?
I did. I wrote an article. I wrote a book report or a game report on Outriders. You know what else? Yeah, game report. That's what I call it.
Yeah, we got a little. Can you tell us what Outriders is? What Outriders is about? Let's start there.
Oh my gosh! Can I get the other writer on screen too? Because I think we're gonna vibe off of each other when we talk about this game.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's bring Mayne out.
Yeah. So, as he's coming out, what is
There's
Outriders?
Mayne. Welcome to the show, Mayne.
Hey, what's going on, God?
What's up, Mayne? So, what is Outriders? And Mayne, I want to get your opinion because I think several people could play this game and several people could have totally different opinions of it. But to me,
yeah.
Outriders is like a looter shooter RPG experience, right?
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that it's a mix up, right? So when you talk about looter shooters, especially as of late, you think about Destiny, you think about the Division. It's a lot of these different genres kind of being mashed together, and they create this gumbo, so to speak, of just goodness, gumbo goodness, as it were. It mixes a lot of different things that for a lot of people would usually enjoy on their own, like the MMO aspects, social aspects, the shooting aspects, and things like that. But they somehow make it all come together and just work. So that's kind of how I would describe what a looter shooter is, and how this game really does a great job of presenting all those elements to the players.
No, I totally agree that. So as someone who got destroyed in Destiny by you, Mayne. When I first heard this game, I was like, I don't know. So just a little history with me and Outriders, right? I first looked at the game and I played, I think it was with Jim Bear, if y'all remember Jim in the community. He did a first look of this game.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. Then, I did a playthrough of the game and I just kept dying. Then I eventually got a class tree, and I decided to get a class. I still didn't like it, right?
So what's the storyline of the game?
The storyline? Well, I don't want to ruin the game too much, because
what's the opening story?
The opening.
I guess we can go into the we can kind of. I guess we can go into that.
Yeah.
What would you say? What's your take on it? Like, what did you gather so far from playing it and everything? Would you say if you were to give people like a elevator pitch?
An elevator pitch of the opening story. So I would say it's about people going to a new planet, right? And why do people go to a new planet? Usually because the whole planet's dying, right?
Yeah.
Usually what happens in sci-fi. unless you're alien and you like to look for another alien species for weapons. No spoiler alert on that movie series.
Right. So these people were like in cryo sleep. They had been in space for years and then found a planet, right?
Pretty much, essentially, yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. It's a lot more
yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
And it looks like, and when they get there, everything looks really hopeful and like the future's bright. They just gotta make it through the early stages of taking over this planet, basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah, go ahead.
and at that point, at least this is as far as I got when I played the game. And at that point, something happens where they put your character back into cryo sleep, and you wake up hundreds of years later, and everything has taken a turn for the ultimate worse. Right?
That sounds good.
Okay, that's as far as I got. That's
Okay.
where I
So
So
to add on to that, I would say that what happens then is like you find out that there's this, and I guess we can give this because we can tell this story because we see that you have abilities and things like that. So there's this event that happens, or this I guess you could say this storm called the anomaly. Is just, you can't really explain where it comes from or anything like that. It just touches down and it just wipes out everything. Like what I say in my article, it just Thanos snaps everything, right? Every time it touches down, anybody who comes in contact with it, whether you're animal, flora, fauna, you just disintegrate. But what happens is sometimes you come across there's situations where some people who are affected don't actually die or actually perish. They actually get upgraded and enhanced. And so and they become pretty much the characters that you see that you play as, or the main character. And so there's a lot more to it than that's right. So that's how you get your abilities, and that's kind of how that narrative is driven. But in between all of that, you have the politicking, the survival aspects, the rogues, and there's other different stories that are planted within there. It pretty much is just you're this group of people who are trying to move to another planet to survive. And
so we got
a little bit left.
a first person shooter that has role-playing game elements with a skill tree, and yeah, that's
and mods, not
Yes,
just
mods,
like if it was just a skill
Lot more
tree, it
to
would be
it.
like, yeah, but the mods, I think you have, but you're exactly right, LoFi. You have a shooter with all these different elements and a story to it, right?
Mhm.
Like,
right.
I think that's the other element to it, that there's actually a deep story. Depending on
Yeah.
how much you want to dig into it, you can uncover quite a bit of story and a lot of questions that build upon themselves and give you a better understanding of this planet, right? And so, to me, that made this game somewhat unique, and something that, if you can tell, like with most role-playing games, once you start getting into that crafting, once you start getting into like really making that character yours, and then you add on to a story that the more you play, the richer the experience becomes.
Right.
Like, to me, that was what Outriders was, right? And so I don't want to ruin it because you haven't got too far. So when you say the ultimate downfall, like, there's a lot in there, and so that's why
it's like everything was so beautiful and green and lush, and then when you come back, it's like the last thing I saw was like a couple hundred dead bodies hanging upside down.
Yeah, and that ties into the politics and the things that were happening while the character is away. So there's a lot that's happened, that's transpired. People have aged. You mentioned, one of the components, you did end up going into a sleep. So you're coming back and trying to figure out what amount of time you've lost and kind of catch up. But in between all that, you still have these world events, and you still have these monsters that are going crazy, and all these animals that are going crazy, and all these different factions that have splintered up since you've been away. So it's a lot more to it than just pointing your gun and shooting and looting and things like that, which I love, because I think me and Hayes can really speak to this. We love narratives, and we love story-rich games. And at first glance, it doesn't seem like it will be, but the more that you invest time in it, like she says, right, it's more of those things that you get out of it what you put in. And so you're going to come across some story beats where there may be a conversation that's being held, or you may find something that you may find out in the world while you're exploring that you can grab, and it'll give you more context or more background story into where you are right now, or the setting that you're in. So it's a lot of those things. If you just want to go through and shoot, you could do that. but there's still that story element that, for me, as somebody who plays games like Mass Effect, Gears of War, all these different franchises that have really grand, narratives, this actually finds a great balance of putting you in the action, but also telling a compelling story too.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that we keep saying a looter shooter, but I play with someone. Shout out to Squids when I do play with him. He doesn't really do a lot of shooting. He uses a lot of other things, skill based. And so, and that is another point. I don't even know how to describe. That's why it's hard for me to describe the game, because there is kind of this mythical ability part of the game once you start digging into it, right, Mayne? And so, and once you start adding that layer onto the gameplay, it's still a looter shooter in the classical sense,
right?
But the shooter element can take on more of like what would we call it, in like a mage type of,
in a way, you could see almost the shooting aspect, depending on your play style. It could almost be supplementary, like a supplement. You don't have to necessarily shoot, like you said. If you don't want to, you can rely based on your abilities if you want. There's a lot of different things, especially how the classes are different, how they're set up. Certain classes, like if you're a devastator, right, you can actually heal and everything like that by doing damage up close. So do you have to shoot? Not if you don't want to. You can rely on your abilities and still have that kind of experience. So I guess you're right. The shooting aspect does. I guess you could say, instead of looter shooter, you could just say looter, slash. You know what I mean? It's optional.
So maybe it'd be helpful if we talk about some of those classes, Mayne, just to give like a little, because I don't think that's ruining too much, because I really want people to explore that story and explore it on their own. But for everyone, there's basically 4 classes that you can choose from. Once you get through the introduction, you have to choose one of these 4 classes, and I don't want to say stuck, because that's that usually has a negative connotation. Right. But whatever class you choose, that's what you're going to go through the game as. Now, if you're like, hey, I choose a class and you don't like it after the first 5 minutes, that's okay, because you've already done the introduction. You can just restart a new game and you start right there where you choose the class again. So shout out to People Can Fly, because they really value your time and they allow you that. So there's 4 classes, as I said. There's a Devastator class, and we would typically think of the Devastator class as maybe your traditional tank. Gives a lot of damage, takes a lot of damage, very physical, upfront type of thing. Now, I'm going to get into subclasses here in a second, but that's basically the Devastator, right, Mayne? Yeah. In a nutshell.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have like a Pyromancer class. Pyromancer, pyro, has to do with fire. A lot of people consider this your typical mage kind of class. A lot of magical type of stuff going on. In my opinion, the most beautiful animations go with this class. But the Pyromancer class. Another class that's really interesting is the Technomancer class. So Technomancer has a lot of little gadgets, right? And a lot of people think of this as your range class, like can hit you from a long distance. Now I'm going to mix this all up when I talk about subclasses, but we got that. And then probably the most unique class and the hardest one for me to really explain is the Trickster, right? And just to give you, it's called a Trickster. This class can manipulate time, can teleport across the battlefield. Like it's actually my secondary character. But it's really cool class. And you're like, well, how can it do all that? It takes a lot to master a Trickster, but I can guarantee you it is like an extremely fun class to play if you choose to play that one. So 4 classes, and you're like, okay, sounds cool. But where it really gets fun is you have subclasses. Yeah. In each of your subclasses, right, they kind of follow a general trend. You have a subclass that's like really about shooting. Like, so if you really like to do the shooting, you can really plus up that subclass and give it a lot of the shooting abilities. There's another subclass that's about healing, really about taking a lot of damage, but healing a lot. And so I play actually with a Technomancer a lot of times, who just maxes healing, which allows me to max out my offense. It's a great balance. And then your third subclass is more of your magical ones, where you start getting into what they all do, like whether it's throwing fire, throwing, I don't know, Trickster, I forget what, like just manipulating things.
There's a lot of depth to these classes.
Oh yeah,
and then you can mix them, right?
Well, guys,
you could have a little bit of all three.
Yeah,
I want to get to y'all's review, but before we do that, let's go ahead and bring out the other guys and
sure.
Yeah, and we'll come back to
in.
your reviews. Let me get Mr. SPG. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's a pleasure to be joining you guys for the first CGR, and super excited, man. I loved your guys' points on the game. I actually need to jump into this title with you guys so you guys can hold my hand a little bit. I struggled with this title a little bit. It's massive. I mean, Outriders is a beautiful game with an interesting take on a sci-fi type experience. As you guys just got into, I really enjoyed the fact that your character runs into some major trouble in a storm right off the bat, and it sends the story in a totally different trajectory.
It does.
Which grabbed me, and I liked that. But sadly, though, I never quite got into Gears of War. I have yet to get into Destiny 2. And I know these, it's roughly, sort of like those games. But where I struggled a little bit with this title was the skill tree, which you guys were just mentioning in the classes. I had no idea about subclassing. I actually didn't. I've never crafted. I put close to 15 hours into the game. And I'm nowhere near the end game tier or building on the end game at all. But I did enjoy my time in it. But just right off the bat, real quick, what are your guys' scores out of 1 out of 10 clouds for this title? Starting
Purple.
with you, Mayne, or you, Purple. Just interested. What is your overall score?
I don't know. 1 out of 10 cloud. I mean, so I can give you my overall, my opinion that I think someone should play the game on Pro first before buying it, right? So I'm not sure if that translates. Like if I'm saying this is a day one buy, that's a 10, and I'm saying someone should try it out on Pro, even though I love the game, highly advise it. I think I would have to give the game a 7.5.
7.5 clouds out of 10?
Okay. 7.5 clouds out of 10. But I love it. I really like the game. I think it's a very good game. But the reason I said that, and some of the things you just mentioned, some things we haven't got into, and hence the reason I focus on like the gameplay of the game more than this in my review. But Mayne, what do you think? Because you said it's a day one buy.
Yeah, this is as far as my perspective, it's a buy for me. I love these types of games, and I have this, I guess because of my extensive amount of research that I do in every single game that I play, I usually jump in the game and just like know where to go and what to do and how to do things. So the learning curve for me isn't as steep sometimes, but I think that it's a day one buy for me. I love a lot of the things that the game manages to pull off. I would say that, however, me buying it is my opinion. I would love to ask everybody to consider buying it, but because of the platform that we're on, if you can manage it, if you do have Pro, of course, try it out first. Take a trial, see if it fits with you. Because if I say it's a buy for me, this is coming from me personally, right?
Yeah, because it's one of the Stadia Pro 100 trials, right?
I would say for me, right? Buy, absolutely.
Or no, you don't even have to have Pro. You don't even have to have
you did your trial, right?
Yep.
So
you don't even have to have an account.
So that's my take. I would say buy, but definitely if money is one of those things you want to make sure that what you're investing in is worth the investment, of course, try it if you can. But me, I didn't even have to try it. Like I matter of fact, actually I played it somewhere else before. And when it came to Stadia, I was like, oh, buying it again. That's just what it was for me. It was easy. But out of clouds, I would give it actually an 8 out of 10 clouds. Okay. There's some things that we'll discuss in the article that you can read, but that's my stance on at this point.
Right on. For myself, after about close to 15 hours, I'd give it 7 clouds out of 10. Now, that is my score based on it being Pro. I didn't spend any physical cash on this game. So if I would have spent money, I would have maybe given it a 5. But I don't quite understand all the game. Like, as content goes, the content is there. If you want to dive into a game and you like the shooting and some of the mechanics, there's hours and hours and hours of gaming to be had in this title. But yeah, that would be mine. 7 out of 10. The grind is real and the scope of the game is incredible, overwhelming at times for myself. The monsters and the environments are incredible. We just watched a little bit of Purple playing, and the scope of the battles are very incredible. Whenever you have a giant beast that has buffs and you have to take them out in certain ways and avoid the way they attack you,
different
and stuff.
phases and whatnot.
Yeah, I just love that stuff, and I have enjoyed my time. One other little nitpick is the way that the enemies dive behind stuff. It's almost a waiting game at some point, because I've zoomed in and I've tried to sniper some of their heads, and unless their head is a good foot above what they're hiding behind, you can't hit them. And that kind of drove me nuts a little bit, wanting to be at a far distance and shoot, you know.
Sure.
But the mechanics are really good, but I need my handheld a little bit.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting you said that, SVG. And I would love someone else's take on this. But I think if that does annoy you about the game, you may want to, each class has certain skills to help get around.
Mitigate that. Oh, yeah.
At least one, if not two. So, so once again, I think like one of the things about the game is, unlike a Destiny per se, where you do have a couple of different ways to play the game, and Destiny is a great game. There are numerous styles to play World Slayer, or not World Slayer, but Outriders, and I don't think there's any one style that you can continue to play throughout the game. You will eventually have to change up your style. You will have to change up your tactic, and that's even if you're on a team. So,
and here's something else too. I haven't explored any other builds, any other like the Technomancer that you described. I'm like the tank guy that rushes in and gets healed all the time. And maybe that wasn't the character for me. I know there's 2 others to check out plus multi-classing. So I'm gonna jump back in it. But I know that the more you learn of the game, the more you can enjoy it, as somebody just explained to me today.
Well, I know you got to run. So what's your review, Mr. SPG? What's your clouds? How many clouds you give it?
I give it a 7 out of 10 clouds, and I think that because it's pro, if you have pro, definitely play the game and then decide about the World Slayers DLC, because you do get a good hour or so or 30 minutes. I forget how long the demo is, but you can jump in and play the World Slayers after. So I think Stadia's given us a great opportunity to jump into the game for hardly any money and then decide from there if you want the DLC. So overall, it's 7 out of 10 clouds, and I recommend you check this one out, guys.
Awesome. Well, man, I know you got to take off, so thanks for dropping in, giving us your review. I'm going to go ahead and bring Ray and Jeff in now. But yeah, man, thanks, SPG, and we'll see you later, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Yeah, absolutely. And, this is the first CGR. We're going to have many more, and I just can't wait to see what you and Purple come up with, man. You guys are awesome, and thank you all for joining us today, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Later.
Yeah, I'm already coming up with ideas as we go along, and I'm sure you guys are too. So
I bet you are.
Let's go ahead. We got Ray coming in, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring Jeff in too, because I think we'll be all right. Your connections are good.
Can I answer your SPG's take though? Man, look, when they're sitting low and you can't get them, man, you're a powerful being. I don't have to do nothing, man. I am a fire starter. I send a fireball underneath their butts and blow them all up. I don't have to go to them. I love this game. I give this game 9 clouds.
Oh,
Ray.
I was
My
an
man,
SPG.
Ray.
I was an SPG. When I first played this game, I didn't understand the fundamentals of this game. I was a noob. So shout out to my good friend Tally Darkstar Cody, who was an expert. He took me on a run, showed me how to upgrade my gear, how to loot, how to crunch the numbers, how to match all your weapons with your outfits and your abilities to make this game fun. And oh my god, I have elevated and upgraded my guy to the ultimate fire starter. I beat the game last night with Cody, started World Slayer this morning at 4 o'clock. I am hooked on this game.
My man is glowing. Look at him.
So look at him. You give it 9. So you give it 9 clouds.
I give it 9 clouds.
When it bites you, it bites you. I know exactly where Ray is. When it gets
you know what? I was playing Biggie Smalls in the background. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. I'm glad. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. I was loving this game, guys. Dude, look, it's free trials, people. Over 100 free trials on Stadia. Do yourself a favor. Play this game.
You don't even need an account. You don't even need an account.
Play this game. Jump it. Play this game.
All you gotta do is click a link.
Play the game. Play the game. And when you get to the end, get the upgrade. Get the DLC. Man, I'm loving it. Oh my god. And let me tell you something. And then if I was ever this person in real life and somebody kept giving me visions, oh, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. I mean, I kill her, shoot her in the head. So you don't even know. She gets on my nerves with these visions. It keeps, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's somebody who can look into the future. She can't really tell you what's going on, but it's coming, and she can feel it. She gets on my nerves because there was people, the story is amazing. I fell in love with these characters. Damn it, I even cried. I can't tell you because there's happiness and there's also sadness. There's sadness in this game as well. So, guys, play this game. What's up, Jeff? Turn your mic on, Jeff, you noob.
Oh, what's your take, Jeff?
Well, so full disclosure, I did not play it. This is not my type of game. I am not a first-person shooter. Anybody in the community that has played with me know that I can't aim. One could say I'm a bit of a limited gamer. One could say that. So, and I have played other games with the community when they've, carried me along. So I've played with Ray in PUBG. I've played with Crow and others in Avengers. And as long as you're telling me and coaching me what to do, then I'm happy to play along. So my initial, I wasn't going to give a number of clouds because I didn't play it, didn't think it was fair. But now listening to all of this, if somebody will play with me and teach me like Ray, like Cody did to Ray, then I'd be happy to give it a try. So if you're just doing a little squad, you need an extra noob to come along, maybe heal somebody, or someone to get shot, so you don't, I'm that guy, right? Yeah. So I don't give it a review, but I would certainly now play it with other people who could help me, like Ray has in an SPG in PUBG, like Pro and David does in Avengers.
Am I sensing a CGR Outriders co-op session? Like, is that what I'm hearing?
I think we could do, but I do want to add on to something everybody said right now, and I think it's something that should be said. Outriders is best played with other people.
Agreed.
I think that is, and so what Jeff, you're saying, Ray saying, it happened to me too. SPG is saying, I think there's definitely a place, like if you can't shoot or if you have trouble shooting, there are things you could do. You could be a healer. There's literally skill abilities.
So who developed this game?
There's also tiers, guys. So if you're in World 1, it ain't gonna play like World 3. Okay.
Listen.
So if you think I'm in World 3 and I think I'm gonna take on this beast by myself, ain't happening. It's not
so
happening.
Who's the developer of this game?
People can fly.
People can fly.
How many
they
people
made Bulletstorm.
How many people can play at once?
3.
Yes, 3
Oh,
people.
Bulletstorm was dope.
It's Stream Connect, folks. Stream Connect too.
Stream Connect cross-platform, that works.
Mm-hmm. It does work. It does work.
Okay.
It does work indeed. So that's also something that's also pretty dope about it. Here's the thing too, right? And I think that we somebody touched on it, the world tiers. Like this game, and also let me preface this, I'm pretty much usually, up until recently, a solo gamer. Like, I pretty much solo a lot of the games that I play. I just recently started playing with other people and understanding, like what Purple said, how amazing games are. I'm just now coming around, people, just understanding how cool games are with other people in that aspect. And this is definitely one of those games where I agree. And with the world tiers, with the loot drops, the difficulty, the way that the abilities synergize together, there's so many components that pretty much the game just says, please play this with other people. It'll click. Play
The
with other
game's
people.
beautiful.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And even for you, because shout out to my good friend Rock. Y'all make sure you follow Rock Brand. Even you solo players outlet. I'm a solo player. I love playing solo, especially when I'm crying when characters die. No spoiler. But also, guys, there's bosses that are very hard. You're gonna need somebody to jump in there and help you with that. Okay, and I needed that.
Yeah, and I want to ask. I can't see. We got questions going on, y'all. People are asking questions.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what's going on.
So I can see. Is there a summoner class? I would actually say all of them, depending on how you build it, could be a summoner class.
In a way, yeah.
But I think the most classical summoner class would be the Technomancer, right?
That's me. Hey.
Right? Would y'all say that?
I am a fire starter.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say the Technomancer is kind of like and I would say that the Technomancer, even a lot of the different classes, they you can classify them with one word, but I think they also have extra forms of utility too. So like, whereas like for me as a Technomancer, by the way, if you are a solo player, I would recommend going that route if you can. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but you have backup, right? So you can, as a Technomancer, you can be a ranged kind of support kind of person. You set out these turrets or mortars that you can strategically place grenades, traps, and things to be able to help you, to kind of give you cover and provide extra support, which is great, right? So if you have a Technomancer, let's say a co-op squad of 3, and you have your classes and one's a Technomancer, you now have extra guns pretty much to back you up and provide extra support and healing on top of that to the entire squad. So it's a lot of different ways that each class has other forms of utility, instead of just saying this is just a summoner class, it's just a mage, it's just a tank. I would say in a lot of ways, sometimes the Devastator could have some summoning abilities or some kind of thing, where the spikes and things like that they can summon. So there's a lot of different ways. It's kind of hard to really pinpoint exactly what each class is or is kind of like defined as, because they have many different ways to be played.
Yeah.
Yes, Winstar, correct.
But I think to Jeff's, Jeff, I don't know if we sold you to play it or to at least give it a try if you team up with some people. When you first start the game, you will have to do that by yourself through the introduction. So you have to get through the introduction first. It's somewhat of an easier one, but get through that.
Kind of like we had to do in PUBG. There was a little training thing
exactly.
that you kind of had to go through before you can dive in.
And that
yeah.
And then, guys, you're going to end up with a lot of loot. Don't hold on it. Because
please don't.
Hold the stuff that's just like in Destiny 2.
Yep.
You want to level up the stuff that benefits you. All right. And there's going to be higher level items. Of course, you want to keep on the guns and the outfits that are rare and epic and give you the ultimate powers. And make sure you read what each item does, because they all do different stuff. They give you armor, they give you special abilities, and crunch those numbers, because all those percentages adds up to protect you.
Yes, and to piggyback off of Ray too, like another thing that you'll find out as you play the game is that yes, you're gonna get a lot of loot, right? And that's another thing I like about as an RPG player. Also, we play Destiny, Division. There's different color codes of tier, right, as far as the weapon and gear. And so there's also this aspect of when you're crafting, if you dismantle an item that has a certain kind of passive on it, you'll gain that passive that allows you to add on to another weapon if you craft it, or if you just want to add it to another weapon. So you may have a handgun. I love Cowboy Bebop. It's my favorite anime. So when I saw a space cowboy pistol I was like, that's exactly what Cowboy Bebop is. It's a space cowboy. That's what you are. So I grabbed the gun. I said, okay, well, what does this gun do? And it did nothing at the beginning. But then I upgraded the weapon from green to, I think, purple. And then shout out to purple. But I upgraded that to purple, and I was able to choose a list of different perks and different actives that I could use on that weapon. So it went from a regular weapon that was green to a purple weapon that did bleed damage. And then I could also add on another one that made enemies explode or have this explosive area effect every time I reload. So there's different aspects and different things that you can craft and different things that you can implement into your weapon. So it's not just about collect gun, collect gear, equip it, move. There's so much depth into what kind of abilities you can have your gun. You can take that one gun with you the entire game if you want to. If it's your favorite gun, and you can just turn it into a monstrous weapon at the end of the game, or not. Like, there's so much that you can do in that game that just talking about it now, it barely scratches the surface of what's possible in the game.
No. And the one thing I'll add is if you do play the game, like, a lot of people are like, let me just play the game, let me get to the end of the story. I think, both my teammates and I both felt like we just rushed through the game. We played the hardest tiers. We were a team. But then we went back and we played all the side missions. We played all the other little things in there. And we realized how much of a disservice we did ourselves by skipping that stuff. It's okay to maybe move up a little bit. But I'm telling you all, there is such a richness in the story. And after I interviewed the wonderful Rihanna Pritchett, who wrote Tomb Raider, I have so much respect for the storytellers, the story creators in these games. And the People Can Fly story creators did a really good job of, if it doesn't answer it in the cutscenes or in the the voiceovers, it answers it in the side missions and what you collect and what you do there, and gives you just a fuller picture of this chaotic world, because that is what it is. It is chaos there.
Absolute chaos.
There's backstabbing. There's just all sorts of. There's depression. It's crazy.
I'm kind of in the same boat as Jeff, where I don't feel like I can really give the game a rating. But so, like, I played it, and I decided to play it on the day they were launching the new add-on, and I didn't realize that was the day, so I started my stream, and we probably sat at a loading screen for a good 20-30 minutes just talking to chat. But I came back to the game. Every game when they launch like that, it has issues or whatever, but I came back later, like, I guess the next day, maybe a couple hours later, I don't know. But everything was working fine. It was a little bumpy. But I made it through the beginning part of this to where you get, like, just past the opening. Like, you do the training, it teaches you everything. And, like, it right where the story takes that turn to hook you, where everything goes wrong. That's when everything, the game booted me out. But, and I know it's just because they were sorting things out with the launch. But like I said, I didn't play enough of the game to really give it a rating, but the game gave me enough to want me to come back to it. So it's an interesting.
So I'm hearing
I would recommend try it.
I hear that there needs to be a lo-fi, Jeff, and maybe someone else who's played the game to run it back with them, because it seems like they're
I'm glad I wasn't the only person to hear that, because I heard an echo too.
I heard.
I don't know.
So I think that's the thing, and I want to answer. I can't see it. Thank you so much for the questions. As far as navigation, there is. So the way the game is kind of set up is there is like this main story map, and there's different like points. Each of those points have like inner points. So as you progress, you can plant your flag down, and then you can always come back to that point. And it actually becomes very important, especially as you're, going through if you're saying like, I want to push through this and then come back to something, those waypoints become very important if you want to do this story. But there is that navigation.
And I I do want to add on to that though, Purple. So there are like if anybody's played games like Dragon Age Inquisition, they're like hubs, right, that you can travel to. So once you unlock a certain point, it's kind of like designated by the symbol. You can go into the map and you can basically just fast travel once you've unlocked those points. If you want to go to a certain area to grind or whatever, you have that. When it comes to the missions and your main objective, if you hold up on the D-pad, I believe, it'll send out a hologram, like a holographic like ball with a trail, and it'll just kind of like spiral forward to let you know exactly where you have to be, and it leaves a trail long enough for you to be able to follow it. So it'll tell you where you need to be. So there, you don't have to worry about getting lost or anything like that. You hold it up on the D-pad, it'll take care of the rest, and you just follow it. So it's rare that I've ever gotten lost. If I ever got lost, because I ended up getting scatterbrained and getting turned around. But other than that, you're solid.
No, I think, and that's another one of those things where I just say, hats off to People Can Fly for really not trying to waste your time. If they do, it's kind of forgiven if you mess up on a mod, or you're like, I don't want the skill tree, or if you're like, where am I? You can put up on that D-pad and it shows this white line. And it takes you right to where you need to go, which just makes it great. So, hey, Ray.
And I love the hunting too, guys. There's also side missions where you can go and hunt beast and come back with their heads and like
that is a cool thing,
and get paid crazy loot, and you can pick which loot you want. Oh my god. And I love going to, there's a certain town where you go, there's other NPCs or whatever, people, help me, and the side missions are so cool, because then it opens up another story. And then, I don't want to do no spoilers, but somebody asked for help and they played the victim. I found out that they were the ones that were evil, and it just broke my heart that I tried to help somebody and they were the ones that were deceiving me. So the stories are so awesome. This story is awesome.
And I want to also say that what I liked about the story in this is sometimes you question if you're the good person or the bad person. I don't know if y'all felt that.
Yes. Yes. Some of the best games do that.
And so, like, I really like when stories do that, because you're kind of like, am I? Whose side am I actually fighting on? And so, like, you end up going through the game kind of with this question mark. And I played through the game several times, completely through it. I'm in the World Slayer. I'm doing the trials, grinding. So there is a grinding element, right? You will beat the game, and the game is meant to be replayed. Missions are meant to be replayed. But every single time I play the game, and I beat it, and I get to the credits, I'm left with, I want to see. I don't know who am I? Because when you start off, all the characters that you knew when you start off evolve as the game unfolds, and that includes you as a player.
But there's nothing like coming back to a place, coming back as an upgraded badass. Okay?
Absolutely.
And that there's areas that gave me fits, and then I went back.
Yeah, come get these hands now. Now what?
Come at
me.
Now.
Come get these.
Go ahead, Mayne.
Like I was gonna say, I'm sorry, man, but just like you were saying, right? You couple that with the fact that you could upgrade the world tier, right? So let's say you come back and you're too overpowered, and you beat them. Okay, well let's go from world tier 6 to 8. Let's try 8, and then you're like, okay, let's go to 7. You know what I mean? So you can do that. It's there's so much there that I like. At the same time, it's kind of like almost a disservice to in a lot of ways, because there's so much that game offers, and there's so much nuance, and there's so much detail, and there's so many different things that the game opens up and allows you to do that a lot of people aren't really touching on that much. And sometimes it's just like one of those things where it's like, yo, this is literally a diamond in the rough. If you choose to sit down and give it some time, if it speaks to you, right? If it's that's your kind of thing, there's so much there that you can get out of it socially, solo on your own. There's so much there. And for somebody who, if you don't like Destiny, if you don't like the first person aspects of it, but you don't mind the third person over the shoulder aspects, boom, it has it covered. And it just adds a lot to the overall presentation and just the experience to me. I think that this is a game that is experienced, and you can do so at your own pace. And it just being able to do that with other people at your own pace and helping people along, hand holding. It's one of those games where you literally grab somebody and say, okay, I'm the devastator, I'm the tank, or somebody is the healer. I'll be the healer. Let's go through this mission together. I'll back you guys up. This is where you need to go. This is what you need to do. And you just go in and just get at it. Like, this is one of those games. And I love the game. That's all I gotta say. I just love the game.
I'm hooked. I'm Outrider hooked. I might even upgrade it to a 10 probably when I beat World Slayer.
All right, now wait a minute. Hold on now. Wait a minute.
Wow.
I haven't beat World Slayer.
Wait. You said 10 as in rating or world tier? I was gonna say, wait a minute now. Hold on.
No. I'm talking about a 10 as a rating. I ain't even, man. I'm playing on World 3, man. I'm not that big. I'm not on World level.
I do want to explain world tiers because this does. So world tier is the difficulty. So in the base game, you have world tiers between 1 through 15, and you can only go to the next world tier once you've beat a level at your current world tier. So that happens 1 through 15. Once you progress, the world tier system changes to something called apocalypse tiers, and eventually the game can go all the way up to apocalypse tier 40, I believe. And it gets difficult. So just to give you an example of like the difficulty on this game, when you're in a world tier 2 or 3, the main boss may have 1 million hit points that you have to get down. Sounds like a lot, and it is quite a bit a lot. It is a bullet sponge. By the time you start to get to world tier 40, you're talking about bosses with multi-billion hit point type of situations who move faster and do a lot of different things. Of course, you level up as well. You can do a lot more damage. But it really gives you this long arc of like how you want to play. If you think you've mastered it, you can up that difficulty at any point in the game, by the way. Or if you think you've went too far, you can download that difficulty at any point in the game. So just wanted to explain that. I know we're throwing out world tier, but it is just the difficulty level.
I mean, I'm just a baby walking into World Slayer right now with some upgraded powers, man. But I'm still getting my butt handed to me by certain monsters in there. Oh, and they got flying beasts, they got giant beasts, they got giant Oh my God, the monsters that come at you. I mean, good Lord, out of caves.
And if monsters, you have also other. You have other beings on the planet that you're fighting. You have other outriders, or I shouldn't say outriders, but you have other people who have magical powers as well that you can fight.
Exactly.
You can go after really bad. Ray mentioned the hunting season. You can also be a bounty hunter, right?
Yes.
And do those type of side missions. So there's a lot in the game, and I told anybody who wants to play the game, please reach out. I'm always available for this. I always want to try out a new character. And as Mayne said before, and Ray said before, I just want to experience the story again. I want to see that story unfold with someone else. And I have no problem playing as a healer, if that's it, or playing as like a gunslinger, playing as a close combat. There's so many different ways to play this game, and they're all different. And I'm more than willing to play it again.
All right. Well, you've convinced me to at least.
We got the spam bot attacks.
Yeah. No, Jeff, I want to see
You've convinced me to go in. I will do the little opening intro part, so that way I get past that. So then, if somebody wants to, I didn't know there was that little intro part, so that was great. I didn't know that, so I will go in. I will do that, so that way, if somebody else, if I want to,
got another one, guys.
Yep. And there's bosses with minions, folks.
Nice.
You're not gonna be able to. You got a boss, but his minions are gonna come at you as well. So I want to play
bosses
right now.
Self-heal. There's ways you have to figure out. There's the complications in the bosses. It goes up. Bosses have powers. Bosses have minions. Bosses have minions with powers. Bosses have minions with powers with other little things that are going on. It is definitely one of those games that I've sunk in, I think, close to 200 hours in the game. I still find it super fun. I still haven't got to the top world tier, so that should tell you how much there is in this game. Or the top apocalypse tier. I still haven't got every single mod crazy enough as that is, there are still mods I am hunting for just to make my character just that much better. So, and
this game is amazing.
one thing I also want to say that is really cool about this game. Let's say you beat the game with one character, and you're like, you know what? I want to play another character to see what that's like. So I liked my secondary character is a Trickster. Well, I took my Pyromancer and all those weapons. I can transfer those weapons, and more particularly the mods on those weapons, to my other character. So my Trickster is starting with a boost, depending on what I say I want to transfer to the other character.
Absolutely.
Once again, People Can Fly have done a really good job in it's just not wasting your time and letting you dive in and get into the game. But like I said, you do have to make it through the intro, and I am definitely one of those people where it took a couple of nudges, and it finally took me playing with Crow and Squids, actually, and them just constantly healing me, and me saying, wait, I need to get better at this game. And once I did that little snap, I was hooked. So shout out to Crow and Squids.
Absolutely.
So,
Philippa.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say, Mayne?
I was gonna say also, like, there's also like one of those things that I love about games like these, and I know that this is Stadia centric, but it's also cross-platform, right? So you don't also have to worry about if you are on Stadia and you have a friend who wants to try the game and they don't have it. They are like other games that are coming out now. They're adding features to where it doesn't matter if your friends have it or whatnot. Everybody can play together. So another friend could come in with the character. Let's say they play on PlayStation, and of course you're primarily on Stadia. They can come in with their character and whatever their stats are, and you can play the game together. Just all of that adds to just a great way to either meet new people, to help somebody level up, or just they don't want to leave anybody out. And that's another thing I wanted to touch on too. That's a great feature to add to a lot of games nowadays. Just that to not lock anybody out, but you can do that. You send a code to somebody and you can just jump in and start playing. And I think that's really a cool feature that they added in, and I appreciated that, because there were times where I played on Stadia and I had a friend who wasn't sure if they could play because they want another platform, and I sent them a code and they were able to jump in and everything worked great. So you're gonna lose some features, like the Stream Connect and things like that. They're not another Stadia player, but the fact that you're now included in that conversation, in those features, is great to be able to do that.
And if you want to be solo too, you can also say, you know what, I don't want nobody interfering in my game.
Absolutely.
Because I want to do the story, and that's me. I keep it real. I want to experience the story by myself, so I do that too.
Awesome. So what was SPG's rating on this one? 7, right? 7. Okay. All right. Just to recap, what was your rating? And Mayne.
I gave my rating for the game a buy. It's a personal buy for me. Of course, if you want to, it's on Stadia. It's a trial, and it's a pro game as well. So I definitely try it before you do so. That's my opinion. I think it's a great game. I think it does a lot of things well. It's not perfect, but you can read in the review. That's going to be going up shortly. But there's a lot of things that it does really well. There's some things that it has some missteps in, but for the most part, it's a complete game that I am very much enjoying my time with. I bought it twice. So, that's one of those things where
worth the money.
It's definitely worth the money. And the features that it affords you, the special features specific to Stadia, like the Stream Connect and things like that, I think it's definitely a game worth trying out. Please don't pass this one up. But I give it an 8 clouds out of 10 for me.
Okay, right.
9, man. This is a 9. A 9. And if you're a noob, hook up somebody like Project Storm, hook up somebody with Squid, hook up with Dynasty. These guys are like pros. PurpleHaze. Hook up with those pros, man, and
you can always start a party in the
learn the fundamentals of this game. Once you learn the game, you will enjoy it, and you want to upgrade and unravel the story, because the story is amazing, folks. It is a good story, man, if you're into sci-fi and stuff like that. And there is tragedy, there's comedy, there's drama, it has everything. So, but once again, a 9 from the Cyborg.
I have a quick thing to throw in there. PurpleHaze, given your background, how about Outriders Boot Camp?
Oh.
Outriders boot camp. Oh,
You know,
like that.
I could
like
definitely
that.
let's do. I look, y'all know I love Outriders. I actually just finished Lara Croft, so I'm going to be streaming something. I got to stream something new. I would love to stream with people who are just exploring or want to explore Outriders again. So Jeff, I think that's you, and more than willing to jump into this again. As I said, I love this game. This has surpassed Rainbow Six on how many hours I've played, and I played a lot of Rainbow Six on Stadia.
Wow.
I have played a ton of Outriders. It is the 7.5 for me is just, I have to be honest, it will not be for everyone. And there are things about it that I do hope that People Can Fly will build upon. That's why I say I think it can build upon. But as far as just like games, y'all know how much I love Lamote. You know how much I love Orcs Must Die. But this currently is my favorite game on Stadia. And I don't say that lightly. Like I'm about to tear up. But it is a super fun game.
Well, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try and do the introduction this weekend, so I can then play when people are doing. I'm gonna upgrade I'm gonna give it a 7 based on everything I'm hearing. It sounds like a game that is. If I'm playing with other, I doubt I'd play it by myself, but like I do with Avengers and others, I jump in with other people. Then I would or PUBG. So if you need a noob to tag along, I'm your guy.
No, I love, and I see Hulks. I love the Full Metal Jacket. Look,
I'm glad you brought up Orcs Must Die. It's a free-to-play weekend if you're on Stadia, so get out there and play that game, guys. But real quick, before we go, tell everybody about your articles and where they can find them.
Yeah, so you know, I wrote an article on Outriders. It takes it a more like a play style look at it. So a different type of article, but really what I thought was important to jump into the game. You can find that on the PNTS network. Right there, you'll notice it because I put like a little purple background to the Outriders look. So you'll know that's the purple review.
And same for me. Mine actually, I was a little insecure about it a couple times, so I actually set it to be scheduled to come out right about now. So it should be live now, and just the same. It's. I try to do my reviews where it's kind of more in the tone of how I speak. So how I talk is kind of like how I try to write it. And I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun read. I don't want to keep you too long. I want to keep it informative, but also just very relaxed and relatable. So hopefully you give it a check out. Please listen, I read Purple's article and I'm doing this now. I read Purple's article and I was like, I'm not putting my stuff out.
No, Mayne actually wrote a game review. Mayne wrote a game. If y'all notice how I did this review, I jumped in Mayne actually wrote a game review. It's entertaining. It tells you about the game. I don't know what I wrote.
Man, that's what Purple's the reason why I scheduled it. I was like, nah,
Purple wrote fan fiction.
Right. I was like, I read it. Like I'm reading it. You don't know. I read it and I was just like, and I'm looking at mine. I'm just like, game review.
But thanks for pushing me to write it. Thanks for everybody. This was amazing. But I know we're a little over time. But I just want to put this out there again. I think Outriders is a great game. I think it's a great experience to be experienced on a team. You just, for no other reason, to just play with other people and learn about them and laugh with them and joke with them and just go through this game. And if anybody ever has played this game, please hit me up. Please say something in chat. Please say something in, Twitter. And thank you everybody for picking this game. I know we tried to decide which game to pick, but I hope y'all see how much I really, really like this game. And I thank y'all for picking it.
Yeah, definitely a no-brainer. Definitely. Great game. Try it out. Buy it. Just pro it. Whatever you want to do. It's all the above. Just
get your hands on it.
Please. Get your hands on it.
So SPG had to take off early, but and normally he'll be here with us, but I want to just say that everybody, great show, guys. Number one, you guys that are watching, you'll probably see some changes as we grow and the episodes go on. But everybody here in the panel, Mayne, Ray, Purple, Jeff, SPG, and myself, you can find links down in the description. come check out our content. Go check out Stadia Dosage. Go check out PNTS Network.
We have to give a winner
Read
of
these
the
articles.
gift.
Hey, look, LoFi.
Oh, that's right.
The winner, we got to give a gift, LoFi.
We got
Let's
a
give a
winner of a gift. We have a gift
Lo-Fi.
for people who are watching.
LoFi, we've been advertising.
What?
Let's
What
do
are you
it.
talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Someone's gonna win something.
He's
a
playing.
bunch of people are
He's
gonna lose but
playing,
aren't.
dog. He's playing.
No, I'm not playing. What are you talking about?
Look at Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. Wait, you didn't.
That's what you saying. Look at Jeff's reaction. It was funny.
I gave him the game last night.
No, we're giving something on this show.
Every show on, the network, there's a draw. Their gift-a-palooza.
I'm not privy to this information. Mr. SPG
So
must have
everybody-
taken off with it.
Go.
You know how Squids gives something out every show?
I don't have anything to give away, guys. What are y'all doing?
Okay.
No,
So
the
this
network
is-
does. The network does, not you. It's not coming out of your pocket, sir.
Yeah, I know. I don't have a giveaway thing.
So what we're gonna do this for everybody who's listening. This is how we play. This is like jazz. We don't rehearse this, but
Right.
we're pros at this.
We'll work it out.
If you would like to enter the giveaway, please put in hashtag. Let's just pick one, y'all.
Okay.
Hashtag Outriders.
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 Hashtag Outriders if you want to be entered. And then we will do a little background thing to choose the winner. All right?
Okay.
No, LoFi, you just sit right there. We got this. Okay, just sit right there. We got this. Okay, hashtag Outriders. We got Ron Slush. We got Chat Stadia. We got Paul. We got Windstar. We have Crow. We have Holtz. Sanchez. All right, guys, we're gonna give you like one more. Casey.
Am I excluded?
Yeah, you're excluded. You're excluded.
Oh man. Oh, we got people. Okay, we got some people coming in there. Yeah.
But we want to give like a little bit of a minute for people to.
Yeah. For everybody to file in.
Yeah, just a little minute.
Okay. In the meantime, let's have this conversation here. So, given the fact that we talked about Outriders and the new expansion, do you think that there's more that is on the horizon, or do you feel like where the game kind of puts you at, it's told the complete story that it needs to tell? Purple, if you I think you're muted, Purple.
Okay, here. Yeah, so I've played through the game. I think there's more of the story to tell.
Okay.
Like there has to be more of the story to tell. Right?
Okay.
I think this game answers questions, but it also presents questions at every time of the game. And I played this a couple of times with a couple of the people, my teammates. Shout out to Ambi, shout out to Squids, shout out to David Wilson. And certain takes that need to be actually, I know the game has to be answered something. Like the way it ends, it doesn't end on a cliffhanger, but it does end, like I said, you question if you are the good person or bad person.
Yeah,
So
because Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No.
I would say that that's actually a pretty good way to go about things. I think when you're everybody is the hero in their own story, right? That's usually how they say it. So I think that's interesting how that twist comes about. But that's one of the things I will say initially when I play the game that I fear is that games like these that are so good, they end up being like a one and done. And I would love more. And sometimes you feel or you wonder if X expansion or X base game is all the story that they have to tell. And so for me, that was always in the back of my mind, like, man, is when I'm finished and credits roll, am I done? Because I don't like a game like that good to me. I don't want to drop. I don't want to walk away from. And I think that that's also one of the things that, in a way, like a lot of people have issues about games as a service. But I think that in those kinds of ways, it actually benefits in these circumstances with games like these, because you can continue to have things that are always evolving and always happening to keep you coming back. So I'm glad that you feel that there's definitely something to add to it. Go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, if they can tell, they know how many daily active users and monthly active users. If people are still playing it and still liking it, and there's money to be made, there will be, there would be more.
Okay.
Right? They're just not going to, if it slowly dies off and nobody's playing it, then I can see them, all right, nobody's playing it, let's move on to the next one. But as long as people are playing it and there's money to be made, either selling DLCs, loot, skins, whatever it is, then I think they'll keep it going, in my opinion.
And we just found out, sorry y'all, everybody just put in hashtag Outriders. Thank you for doing that. But our drawing thing is not working. So sorry about that. So if you can just pick a number between 1 and 50, and we can actually see every single chat. Pick a number through 1 through 50. We can see everybody's chat because we're doing this on Restream, so we see everybody's message no matter what stream you're on. Just pick a number 50. The first person who hits the number, we'll hook you up. That work? Yeah. That
Predator 50.
Ooh, I love it.
Cover all those bases.
Love it. Let's go.
Come on, baby, hit that number. Baby.
I appreciate everybody for working, for being really, patient. Yep. Things happen. So thank you, chat. Y'all are like I say, y'all are tight because y'all are running with the punches. Appreciate y'all. So thank you so much for it. And immediately, right as soon as you said that, numbers started flying. So appreciate you guys.
They're on it. They're on. You say something.
Look at them.
look at Project Stars.
We had some people close too. We had some people close too.
Oh my gosh. No. Well, we'll let this one go. We did this before. But we got to give this away, y'all. And we need you to play Outriders. We need you to hit us up to play Outriders. I know Ray's ready to jump in it. I know Mayne's there. Y'all know I'm ready to do this anytime. Squid's there is amazing. Crow Resin's amazing.
We still have that number.
Tally's there.
Nobody's got that number. Somebody was close.
Keep going.
Reem was close. Come on, people. Keep it going.
Sandra Haro, let's go. Casey, let's go. Holtz, let's Paco. Rock Show. You can do multiple numbers. Think hard.
Yeah. Just keep putting numbers out there.
And we all know what the number is. I love how this when we started saying, I don't understand how this happens on every show. When the actual prize gets given away, viewer count jumps. I don't know how this every show I see when it's like the drawing happens, people are like,
right.
I don't know if people are talking or if it's the algorithm starts kicking in because people are putting their hashtags in chat.
It's just YouTube says, oh, giveaway. Okay, you get a video, you get a stream, you get a stream.
Yeah. Oh, still close. Come on, guys.
Oh my god.
Maybe we should have done 1 through 50.
This is great. I love it.
Oh my god.
This is beautiful.
Somebody's gonna hit it.
Ron Flusher was close.
No, there's been a couple of people
those are cold.
Yeah, stop.
Nice, Ron. Nice, Ron. So close,
Look,
Ron.
Francisco's going through the whole suite of numbers. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Oh, Rock.
Oh my god, Rock.
Rock got it?
No. Close.
Oh my god. Oh, here we go. We're getting close.
Somebody's
It's
close.
so
there it is.
Oh, there we go. We got it.
Who got it?
I believe Sanchez.
Sanchez Gaming got it.
What?
Oh, what did I tell y'all from the beginning?
Sanchez
Sanchez out here winning.
Sanchez
won last night in LoFi stream too, didn't he? Back-to-back wins.
Cleaning up, man.
He won a drawing with MMTK, so he's got a controller coming too. So
Yeah. Good
All
Lord.
right.
Or something like that.
Thank y'all.
That's
Thank
awesome,
you
man.
so
There
You
you
can
go,
go buy a
guys.
lottery ticket.
GG,
Get one of
Right.
them Powerballs.
Thank y'all for
That was
doing this.
actually the numbers was fun because so many people were
That was
like,
good. I like that. I
right
prefer that.
there.
That
Let's
was
do that.
fun.
Let's do
That
that
was
more. I like
You
it.
know, you can do that with Nightbot too with the numbers, but
Man,
that was
Nightbot,
fun.
Nightbot get on my nerves.
So say the number for the people. So I think Sanchez won. Usually you have Nightbot tells you the winner. So
Oh,
it
yeah,
looks like
yeah. Sanchez
Sanchez won.
The number was 37.
37. Holton, I can't see y'all both hit you hit 36 and 38 to start it off.
Oh man.
But Sanchez came in at the last minute, won it. You
Clean
should
it up.
always know
$37.
Purple will always pick a prime number, just to give you a little hint. So thank y'all for doing this.
Yeah, it
Oh, this
pays the
was
works,
fun.
guys. Yeah, be sure to check out those articles on PNTS Network, and
Yes.
yeah, join us again for the next episode. That'll be what in 2
I
weeks.
believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Okay.
a new game. And a new
And a new
Yes.
game, and a new
Every
game.
time, every show, new game.
August
Yeah.
6th.
Oh yeah.
August 6th.
Anybody got
Thank you,
anything
Matt.
they want to add before we take off?
Just want to thank MM2K. Want to thank Stadia Dosage. Want to thank the PNTS Network. Want to thank the chat. All you guys, man. Thank you. This panel was awesome, and SPG also. Shout out to him as well, hooking up a lot of stuff. LoFi. Thank you for hooking up the graphics and the sound and everything. And guys, this is please just tune in, man. This show's gonna be amazing. And thank you, chat.
Yeah, check out all these content creators. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notifications when we go live. And peace out, everybody.
Enjoy these games.
Peace.